Alright, what's up guys? It's finally time to fill out this terrarium that we built the other day. If you're not subscribed already, you may not have already seen that video, so please subscribe and go check out that video. We built this from scratch out of acrylic. So now today we're going to fill it out. So get yourself gathered some things here. So you gotta gather some hardscape. This is just a few little pieces. I got way more. You want to make sure you got too much hardscape. I always want twice as much hardscape as I'm going to use and a lot of variety. So then, because obviously you can't build a Lego set with a few Legos. Over here I got some pots and things for the background, for plants that will be on the background. And then the most important thing here is this foam. I'm using Gaps and Cracks, great stuff, but you can also use Great Stuff Pond and foam, which actually is a little bit better because it's black, so you won't see it as much. And then you're going to need a bunch of dried cocoa fiber, and you want this bone dry because we're going to be sticking it to silicone. And the silicone we're going to be using is, here, let me grab it real quick. Here's the silicone. It's GE Silicone 1, and it's clear. Alright, so I've laid it on its side here on top of a towel, just so I don't scratch up the acrylic, because as we all know, acrylic for some dumb reason really likes to scratch easily. Just some dirt. But yeah, so now what I'm going to do here is just do hardscape, but dry scape it, so not put the foam in yet. I'm just going to arrange wood pieces that I like in there, see what I like, and then we'll foam the wood pieces in and make that background. So let's have a play around with the dry scape. Alright, so here's something. Obviously all this space is going to be filled in with foam. And then I just taped that one piece up over here, obviously because it's on the side and it's not going to defy gravity. But yeah, I think I'm okay with this. I'll figure out, I'm probably going to put the biggest pot right in there, maybe a pot here, and then perhaps a pot up here, but I don't know if I want to put any pots on that side. Yeah, so I think that's what I'm gonna like here. So let's foam her. So here we are, all foamed up here. Obviously you can see I didn't go all the way down to the bottom because obviously the layer of substrate is going to cover the bottom edge there. But now you can already see it's kind of starting to glaze over. Once it gets to this point where you can, no, it's still too wet, but you get, it's like semi-hard, so it's about 20 minutes or so after foaming. But then you're just going to come through here and press down all the spots, like this bubble here. I'm going to want to press that down in there once it dries a little bit. And then anything else I'll just carve away. But other than that, from the side, from the bottom, you'll never see it from that angle. But anyways, the side over here was, I'd say, pretty difficult to do. And especially trying to get that piece of wood to hold in there. And there is some spots that I missed, but the foam as it expands will cover those spots. And then as you can see, we're going to fill the substrate up to like right about there on the edge there. So though that edge down there that's not so clean, that will be hidden away. So let's let this dry a little bit and then push down the puffy puff. Alright, so I've been messing around with the foam here. You can see, you can kind of like, it's not tacky anymore, and you can just press it down like that. So just mess with it how you want it to look. Just like that. It's a little high up in there. Just gonna squish it down. Just go around squishing down what you don't want up. See? There we go. Sorry. There we go. That is annoying. I'm gonna have to cut that out. But other than that, once you get it to how you like it, just let it fully dry. And then our next step is covering the white background, or the foamy background. Alright, so it's completely dry here now. You can see it's no longer tacky, and it retains its rigidity. So everything in here is secure. See, it won't come off. That was a terrible sound. Anyways, everything has been secured. It's been like an hour or two. But I'd give it another hour or so before moving the terrarium around. But the next step now is to cover all this white stuff. I think I may be repeating myself at this point. But to cover all the white stuff with dried cocoa fiber, which I have right here. This is absolutely bone dry. Like, there's no moisture in it. It's been out drying for quite a while now. You guys all know what cocoa fiber looks like if you've had a terrarium before, or any thing of that sort. But anyways, what we're gonna do is just squirt a bunch of the silicone all over the place, just a lot of it, and then just don't put silicone where you don't want the cocoa fiber to be. So, like on these rocks, I don't want it. On the wood, I don't want it. But so what I'm gonna do is just get the silicone on everything white. And I'm going to use a cheap 1/2-inch brush here just to spread it around and get it down in those cracks and stuff. So let the next step begin. So here we've put the cocoa fiber on top of the silicone here, and you can see just kind of that spot. Just gotta stick it on there. Anyways, but I'm just gonna stick this on there, leave all the excess on, let it cure for a little bit, and then come back and either vacuum it off or just tip the terrarium on its side and then get the excess off. But just let it cure after you've stuck it all on there. And I like to work in sections so the silicone doesn't cure while you're trying to stick it on. Alright, so here we go. Everything's covered here. There's just a bunch of extra stuff, and I'm just gonna take a shot back and suck her right on out of there. And then our next step here is to put the substrate in. And hopefully by this time you should have most of the plants you want. I have to get a few more plants before I plant this. But anyways, next thing is substrate. Plants after that. Alright, it's time to mix our soil for our terrarium here. So we're going 1 part of cocoa fiber, then 2 parts of sphagnum moss, 1 part of, no, sorry, 1/2 part of bark. Orchid bark is the best, and then also 1/4 part of activated carbon, or just charcoal in that case. This is an optional one, the carbon. I like to use it, but don't have to. And then also 1/4 part of sand. Squeezing filter, a sponge from one aquarium into here just to infuse it with some beneficial bacteria. And then also clean his filter at the same time, except I just covered it with soil. But anyways, there's that. And then you just mix it up. Alright, so here's our soil all mixed up here. As you can see, this is a soil that will stay moist but also be well drained at the same time. But next thing we're going to do is we're going to build a false bottom, just a small false bottom for this terrarium. And what the purpose of this false bottom is to have a slight reservoir of water at the bottom, and it helps maintain humidity in the tank. And you can do that with just some aquarium gravel or just any type of larger stone like leca, or you can even use aqua soil towards the back, and this will just provide a little reservoir in the back, or you can do the entire bottom. I'm just going to do a little bit in the back, a little slope. Okay, the false bottom is in. Over the false bottom, you should put a layer of geotextile fabric or window screen like I used here. This is just to keep soil from getting into that layer of gravel. So next we're going to start adding the soil. Alright, now she's ready for planting. What I tried to do was slope it up towards the back a little bit. I couldn't do it much because I don't have that much room to work with, but sloping it towards the back a little bit will create a sense of depth and make it look a little bit deeper towards the back and add more visual, what's-it-called, whatever. Let's plant, and I'll put the names of each plant up on the screen as I plant them. so the terrarium's in place. We're gonna give our spray down and add a very key and thing that I almost forgot, and that would be springtails. I'm gonna use temperate springtails in this terrarium just to make it bioactive and all that good fun. Alright, so we're done with the terrarium now. I added the springtails, but I didn't film them because they're very small and hard to film with a camera, unless you have a micro lens. Don't. But that's it, as I just said. Please consider subscribing. It only takes a few seconds and means a lot to me because I spend a lot of time on these projects. For example, this one took me 3 months to build, and a like would be appreciated if you enjoyed this video.